Hello, I'm Jitender from the Office Guys Tutorials. In this video, I'm going to tell you about how can you draw diagrams using Photoshop. I know if you are my regular audience, you may feel it slightly different because I usually make tutorials on Word, Excel, PowerPoint kind of stuff. But this is going to be a slightly different tutorial. But you need not to worry in case you are using Photoshop for the very first time. I am pretty much sure that you will be able to go through this tutorial completely. And now let's just move on to the tutorial without any further delay. So before I start, this tutorial is going to be helpful for the medical students, for some engineering students, those who work in some biological kind of stuff. So this is going to be really helpful, and I'm not constraining this tutorial only to this particular. It's just a technique that I'm going to tell you how to use a software that you can take it to some other diagram as well. So here on my screen, I have Photoshop open. So let's just take a new document. So we'll take up A4 size sheet and make sure that you're taking orientation as portrait, not the landscape one. Resolution. Now resolution is an important aspect. Most likely 300 pixels per inch is, you can say it's a standard asked by various journals. So we'll go with 300 pixels per inch. And color mode is RGB is fine because mostly people use publication on a screen or a mobile phone screen or a PC screen monitor, anything like that. So we'll go with RGB color, and we'll go with 8-bit as of now. You can go with 16-bit in some complicated case where you have a lot of gradients and all, but for this case we'll go with 8-bit. And background color we'll go with white. I'll just click create. So once you open, you will get some screen like that. So let me just quickly introduce you about the tool quickly. I'm not going to go into the depth because it's a huge software. You have a lot of possibility to do. So before I start, let me just quickly tell you about all the important tools that we're going to use. So let's jump in. So here you have a toolbar on this various tools that you can see: brush, eraser, smudge tool, all these things. And we will see these in a moment. Another important panel that we have is layers panel. If you are unable to see any of these over here, what you can do is you can just click window on the top here, and whatever you're looking for, you can just take that one. So with that, I'll proceed to draw the diagram that we are going to draw. So let's take pen tool, and if you keep your cursor and if you keep your mouse clicked for a while, you'll get this curvature pen tool option over here. So let's take that up. And let's change a few settings on the top here. You can see on the top over here. So shape, and the shape is this option. In this option, make sure that you choose shape. Fill, if you have any color, make sure that you disable it. Okay, so this cross means it's disabled. Stroke, you can go as of now with black. Later we will change accordingly. And this 100 is fine, we can change that as well. Now coming up to this, make sure that you have a straight line. Alignment is anything is fine, but I'll prefer to go with the same settings that I'm using. So center one. Caps also, I will use caps to be round cap. Corners, I will use the second option, corners with a like kind of fillet on the edge. So that's all you need to worry about. Now we have already this tool selected, or pen tool selected. So click once here, click once here, then one more time and one more time. With this you can see you got a very beautiful curve, and that is very smooth as well. So we can see the thickness is too small. So what I'm going to do first is I will increase the thickness. So you can see that option on the top. I think somewhere around 400 will be a good size to start with. On the top, I will choose move tool, and I'll click on this particular line, and I will come here, these three dots, align to canvas, and just align it to the center. So with this, you can see we are good to go. Okay, let me just turn off my caps. So it's my main layer. I'll take up another layer of this. So I'll just drag it like this and drop to this plus icon over here. So we'll get a duplicate of that. The shortcut is Ctrl J, you can press. if you wish to do with the shortcut. Now let's just select this main layer. Okay, I will write main 2. Okay, for our A's, I'll just name it main 2. Now you can press A on the keyboard and you will come up to the direct selection tool, or otherwise you can come to this corner of the screen. Okay, you can see my cursor and you can select this line, and let's change this color so that we can see what we are doing. So I will change with some red. In case you are unable to see any color over here, you can just double click on the top here and choose a color as required. So I'll just click OK. Looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just reduce its thickness. So this seems to be fine. Somewhere around 200 I will take. And now I don't want the entire thing. Okay, I don't want the entire thing. I just want a part of this. So what I'm going to do is I'll come to this pen tool again, and you can see you have an option of adding the anchor point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll add an anchor point, and I'll add anchor point somewhere around here, and this point seems to be fine to me, or maybe I'll add somewhere here. Okay, so I added 2 anchor points further, and now I'll come to direct selection tool again, and I will delete this point. So I'll press delete, and again I'll press delete, maybe one more time. Okay, yeah, delete. Let me just select it carefully. I was unable to select that, and I will delete. So with this you can see we got something of this sort. Let me just quickly change the color of the one we have on the main layer. Okay, the main blood vessel that we have drawn. So again, if you are unable to see the color panel over at the top, you can just click on this arrow or the direct selection tool, and you can change the color to something of dark red. Okay, let me just change it again. So I'll come back here and I will double click, or single click is fine, and I'll give a darker color, and we have this one. So now what I'm going to do, I'll take main copy, and again I'll drag it over here. So we'll get main 3. And what I'm going to do is now I'll select this and I will reduce it further. So something like that. Right now we can't see because we need to change its color slightly. So I will just give a very light color. So like this. And something of this sort, not too much. So I think 160 will be better. Yeah, 160 looks fine. So with this, you can see our diagram is almost kind of getting shape that what we are looking for. So we are now ready. Now it's time to merge all these 3 together, but I am merging in a way so that we will be able to move them separately in a later point. Okay, so what you have to do is select the 3. So how you have to select is click on the main 3, press shift and click on the last one. So that will select the entire row of the layers, and right click and click convert to smart object. So it will convert into one object, but if you want to edit this later, you can right click on this and you can edit content. So you can see still we have an option to move all these 3, but in that particular layer it will work as a single. So it's time to now add some depth to it. Right now, if you see this diagram, it looks very flat. So what we have to do is we have to add certain lighting effect. For example, right now you can see I have a light in front. So, and I have a window over this side. So you can see I have more light coming toward this side. So I have shadow this side and I have a light this side. So we have to create that kind of effect that will give a 3D feeling to this diagram. So for that, let's create 2 layers, and before we do that, let's just lock this layer so that we should not make any change to by mistake also. So we should not make any changes to this particular layer. Now I'm going to take another layer and I'm just going to name it shadow, and one more layer where I'll write light. Okay, always remember shadows are black in color and light is always like kind of white or a lighter color. So let's come to the 4th option from the top, and we have something called magic wand tool, and you can just click for some time until these options will come, and you can see the shortcut over here is W. So once you once you have selected that, make sure you follow up with the same settings. Sample size somewhere around 31 by 31, and tolerance you can reduce it to 1. So once, and remaining everything same, and click over here. So you can see the region of the dark red color is selected. Now come to the shadow option. Okay, so this right now we are using only this layer to take samples. Okay, which area. So now this area is selected. So whatever we are going to brush or anything will be affected in this particular area. So come to shadow, press B for ball on the keyboard, and or otherwise you can take brush option from the menu over here. So brush. Now let me just quickly right click on anywhere. You just bring the brush to the sheet and right click and change the brush size to somewhere around 200 and hardness value to 0. And next, this flow and opacity you can see on the top, you just change the value of flow to somewhere around 3 to 5%, anything is fine. And I feel the brush size can be increased a bit, so I'll just go with 350. Next, what you have to do is, you can see now we already have a foreground color as black. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just simply draw over here. Maybe you will not be able to see at this moment because our flow, the brush flow is too less to do these things. Okay, but little later I'll just show you. It looks very nice. Okay, it's done. Similar way, and the down also I will do. Okay, it's very subtle, but it adds a lot of detail into that. Okay, so now let me just show you before and after. So this was the before and this is after. Before and after. Now it's time to add some light to the diagram. So for light, as I mentioned, it should always be of white color. So I'll press X on the keyboard, or you can just double click and take white color. Now I will reduce the brush size and I'll zoom in the picture. So for zooming in, press Alt on the keyboard and you can scroll up and down. So I'll reduce the brush size. So how I'm doing very easily, press Alt on the keyboard and right click on the mouse, and you can just, if you move your mouse left to right, you can change the diameter of the brush, and if you move up and down, you can change the hardness of the brush. So I will do, and I'll reduce the brush. I will hardness, I will make 0, and brush size I will take somewhere around 130. Looks fine. Now I will draw some lines like that. Okay, press Ctrl Z if you, in case you are looking for undoing that. So I'll just make one smaller. Okay, so make sure that you take brush in one stroke. So this will add a lot of like reflection into that. Similar way I am going to do here as well. So I'm following the path of the this shape. Okay, so you can see it gives you now kind of a 3D look that we have some sort of light over here. I will reduce the flow a bit and I'll brush over here so that this two doesn't look same. Something like that. Okay, so now I will show you before and after. So this was the flat diagram that we made. So very flat, right? So we'd add shadow to that, and then we added light to that. So now I press Ctrl D on the keyboard. So you can see we have the diagram over here, and the similar thing we have to do in the inside part as well. So select the main 3 layer and come to wand tool and select the inside lighter color area. Come to the shadow, press B on the keyboard and make sure that your foreground color is set to black. So you can just quickly do it. So simply I will do, or what I feel is, instead of making it black, I'll make it some dark red color kind of thing. Okay, the flow is too less. I'll just make it somewhere around 5%. brush size also I will reduce a bit. I don't want it to be too wide. Okay, and somewhere here also. Okay, a little bit on the top I'll do. I feel it's less. So this may, if you're using Photoshop for the first time, it may take some time for you to get used to this, but this is the way to go. Slightly from here as well. So right now you can see you have some sense of depth over here for a technical visualization. So next we are good to go, and our shape is, like you can say, kind of ready to go for further enhancement. If you feel to change any color, let's say we feel this background color of the blood vessel, the outer shell of the blood vessel is too dark. So what you can do is just right click, edit content. So right now it's showing disabled because mine is already open here. And what you can do is you can just select this main layer, okay, and you can just change its color. So let's just change it to a little lighter, okay, and press Ctrl S, and you will notice that it will be updated over here. Okay, so let me just show you separately what we did is, so you can see first we made this. Okay, is it changed or not? I'm not sure. I think that layer was locked. Is it because of that? Possibly. So I'll just come to main layer 3 and let me just try changing it now. Okay, it should be darker than this one, so I will change it. Ctrl S. I think now it's changed. So something of that sort you can just make, but I'll make sure that I will lock it again. So next thing is we are going to draw some shape. As you can see on the screen, we have some molecules kind of thing that is sticking to the surface inside. So how we can do that is, let's come to the rectangle tool over here down, and in that we'll find that tool called ellipse. So take an ellipse. Okay, you can hold shift on the keyboard to get a perfect circle. So right now you can see the appearance tool over here, or maybe on the top, that's anything is fine. We now want a fill into that. So let's say we are making a good cholesterol, so it will be of green color, but right now we don't want this black outline in that outline is called stroke, so we don't want. So we got a good shape over here. Now this ellipse, I will bring it up and I will name it as good cholesterol. Next, what I'm going to do is I'll press B on the keyboard and make sure that you take another layer on the top. So we have good cholesterol and layer 1 on the top. This layer 1, I will give it a name light for molecule, okay, so that you can better understand. Now make sure that your foreground color is white. If it is not, you can just double click over there and take it white. On this good cholesterol, press Ctrl and click so that you will get the selection around it. Okay, so you should not be able to you will not be able to draw anything outside this region. Now come to the light for molecule, and I'm going to make sure that my hardness is set to 0 and diameter of the brush to be somewhere around 200, and I will just click once here, once or twice like that. Okay, couple of clicks I will do until I feel it's looking good. And then what I'm going to do is I will press Shift D so that I'll get black color over here, and then I'll reduce the opacity to somewhere around 2, and I will just draw over here in the edges so that we will get kind of sphere kind of feeling. And press Ctrl D on the keyboard to deselect. So with this you can see our sphere is ready. Similar way, drop this into the plus icon and create a copy, name it bad cholesterol, and just change its color to a bad color to that signifies anything like that. So I'll go with something like orange, orange that of feeling. Okay, so something of that sort. Okay, and I'll create a copy of this as well. So this and bad cholesterol, I'll just move it aside. Okay, so now what we can do is we can create a group of this. So convert to smart object, and these two also convert to smart object. So now we have particles over here. Now it's time to reduce their size. So there are a couple of ways. So if you click over here and you make auto select and show transform control checked on, so you can directly reduce their size. In case you are not comfortable with that, you can press Ctrl T on the keyboard, make sure that correct layer is selected, and you can place it over here. My Photoshop looks like it's lagging a little bit because I'm recording this screen that takes a lot of RAM and processing power. And now I'll create a couple of copies over here. Okay, like that. And if you wish, you can create a couple of more copies. So just press Alt on the keyboard, you will get this double cursor and you can drag it like that. I feel the size is too big still. So what I'm going to do is I'll come here and I'll select all these copies except this, and I'll reduce its size a bit like that. Okay, I think one we left forget to select, so now I'll select this as well and I'll keep it somewhere here. Okay, so right now you can see they are going above the wall. So what we can do is you can just select like this. Okay, press Ctrl T. Oops, I think the main is not selected, and make sure that we should lock this too as well. Okay, so that we should not move them by mistake. And now what I can do is I can move this, I can select this, and let's drag this to a folder. Okay, an icon before plus, you can just hold it, and let's just name this as these are good cholesterol. Okay, I made a mistake actually. Good cholesterol should be flowing, it should not be sticking to the blood vessel. So let's just quickly move them to somewhere like they are flowing. Randomly we'll position them so that good cholesterol is one which will flow from your blood. And let's delete these three. So I'll just select and delete. So good is done. Now it's time to create for bad. Okay, so this is one represents bad cholesterol. I'll reduce its size. I'll press OK, and let's place it somewhere here so that it looks like it's sticking to the wall. We'll manage the other things little later. So I will drag it like this. I'll drag it again. Make sure that you are pressing Alt on the keyboard like that. And let's just merge these three all together. So I'll just select these carefully, and let's first group them. So let's just name the group as bad cholesterol. Now what I'm going to do is, as you can see, it is coming up this layer, so it should be below this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a mask on that. So I'll take a mask. So what this mask does actually, whatever is white, it will be visible. Wherever we paint black, it won't be visible. So I'll press B on the keyboard, make sure that this is selected. I will change the brush hardness to somewhere around 70 or 80% and reduce its size, and you can just clean this up. Okay, make sure that flow is 100%. So it's getting too much. Okay, you need not to do precisely, but to some extent it's fine. For example, I'm using my mouse and I'm doing, let's say if you are able to brush more, okay, let's say by mistake you did more, press X on the keyboard, that will change to white color, so it will come back again. So it's a non-destructive way of doing things in Photoshop. So like that we can show it's stick to the wall. So this way using, you can create diagrams. Now let's give quick captions to this diagram. I'll give only one so that you can follow up with the same procedure. So from the option where we took ellipse tool, you have something called line tool. So just draw a line. So right now the thickness of line is too high. Let's just change it to somewhere around 8 pixels. 8 also looks more 6 seems to be fine. And you can see we have a text tool, and the shortcut is T on the keyboard if you press, and you can just click over here. Make sure you change the color to black, and font is Arial or maybe Times, and you can just type good cholesterol. I'm not sure with the spellings and all, but you can follow up with that. And just to give a feeling, or maybe you can change the color of your choice, and you can just keep it somewhere here. Now let's say your diagram is now ready, and it's now time to save this diagram. So how you can do that? Now you can see we are on the page. The page seems to be too big. So what you can do is, 4th or 5th option from the top, you have something called crop tool. Select that tool and you will see a boundary, or otherwise you can draw a boundary of as per your choice. So you can just select or draw a region like that. If you're fine with the result of the crop, you can just press tick mark on the top, and you are good to go. Now it's time to save this document. So now you have, for publication, it's always good if you save a drawing in PNG or a TIFF format. So I'll tell you both the options to save this file. So come to File option, Export as. So now you can see you have all the 3 options: PNG, JPG, GIF. Size you can take from here, and you can just click Export, and there you go. Okay, so once you click Export, you can just choose a required place where you want to save your documents, and you can click Save. Let's focus, you don't want a white background. So we have a background layer which is locked. You can unlock it, or in case you are looking for a transparent diagram which doesn't have any background, you can just uncheck this, and now you can save with a transparent background. If you want to save this as a TIFF file, you can come to File, Save As. You can choose TIFF and then click Save. So that's a wrap, guys, and I hope you like this video. And if you have anything or any concern or any doubt, anything in that sort, you can write to me in the comment box. I'll definitely get back to you. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I create awesome videos like this on this channel. Thanks for your supporting so far, and I'll be looking for your support further. Thank you. I'll catch up with you in the next video.